Good morning. This is Angela with today's A Cup of Tea. I love this topic today because it's something I love to think about and talk about. I love stories and movies and books where you are taking all these twists and turns and you see all these things sort of unfold and you're like, oh wow, and every time like there's a twist and turn, you're like, oh wow, that's cool, and you're trying to figure out how it's going to end up. Well, what's really funny is how this ties into today's topic, because I talk to people all the time about finding their soul's purpose, finding the way that, what's going to make their heart and soul sing, finding their personal legend. And so many times I hear, I'm just taking the wrong turn, I've taken the wrong turn, I've made so many wrong choices, I've gone the wrong way, and is it too late, and all that kind of stuff. Here's the thing, and this is a pretty big concept to think of. It can be a little mind-blowing. So here's the thing. There are no wrong turns. There are no wrong directions in life. There are no wrong paths to take. Because every single thing we do, this goes back to a couple weeks ago I talked about there's no right or wrong, there's no good or bad, there's no good and evil. It's all just experience. It's our choice and how we're experiencing this existence. So if we come at it from the perspective of this, that we are always on the right path, it's just the choice of the lessons that we want to learn. So even though we're looking over here and we might say, I want to do this, but yet you start going that direction, and guess what? You get sidestepped. You have to go over and do this. Well, guess what? That was a lesson that you still wanted to complete before you got over here. And that's okay. That's just part of the whole path thing. And sometimes we think, oh, well, that's the long way around. That was the wrong way. No. It is simply that you had some other lessons to learn. Sometimes, so here's where you get a little bit mind-blowing on this. Sometimes you might go all the way over in this direction. So you're trying to go here, and then you go over in this direction, right? And here's the thing. So maybe the path actually jumps straight towards that point. And you have all these paths, and then there's one that jumps straight towards that point. And then there's one that has like really lots of twists and turns, and I like to think of it as a game board, really. And I think of like the game of life, which is so funny and appropriate. But twists and turns and downfalls and falling off the cliff and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the straight and easier and graceful path. So then your life takes this turn and you go here. Well, here's the thing. And you might think, oh my God, I made such a wrong turn here. I made the wrong choices. I went the wrong way. However, now think about this. What if, had you not taken that turn, you would have kept on going on the path that you thought was the easy path, and that might have been the path that actually would cause you more grief along the way, and more delays and more sidetracking. And maybe, just maybe, taking this path get you to a point, because of the series of experiences and the way that your mind processes and filters all of the experiences, that you had to get to a certain point that these experiences were causing for you, so that your mind would understand what step you needed to take to get to that path that was the straight and easy path to that personal legend. So there is no mistake. It's all in divine plan. It's all in how we plan it for ourselves. So let's be a little more easier on ourselves. So many times I hear, oh, I should have done this. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Just get rid of the shoulda, coulda, woulda. Because there's always a divine purpose for it. What's really funny is there's a story, and I try to stick with the whole soul's purpose thing, but this is such an amazing story to me, and this shows like such a huge example of this. But there's a woman I know, and I just knew her as an acquaintance through a company that I used to work for, and we had a mutual friend, and this friend would have these holiday parties every year. And so I would see this woman, actually became better friends with her every year, after I left where I had worked, so that, you know, because I would see her at these parties and we would talk at the party and catch up. So here's the story of this woman, and it's just so amazing to me. One year I had been at the holiday party, and she was devastated, depressed. She was just so sad because her husband of like 30 years had passed away, and she was lost and all that kind of stuff. The following year, she shows up and she is beaming and just glowing and beautiful and with this man. And so I said, oh my gosh, what happened? And so she told me the whole story. Phenomenal. So what happened was, when she was a teenager, a late in teens, she totally fell head over heels in love with this man, this guy. And they just were so passionate about each other, and they felt like they've mixed together and they fit together so well. And they were going to run off and get married, and they were like going to go off to another state, that, you know, because I think she was underage and he was of age, whatever. And what happened was, her mom intercepted a note on them meeting. And so she actually prevented them. This is like so out of a movie, right? She prevented them from running away, because she not only did that, but she moved the family physically away into another state so that she would take her daughter away from that, so that she would give her a better chance at what she wanted to do, and a better chance at life, which, you know, intentions and whatever. And so, okay, so she was devastated for about a year, and then they lost touch, and then she went on with life. Went to school, she did the stuff, she went and did this, da, da. Well, in her early 20s, she met her husband, fell in love with her husband, married him, really loved the man, had kids, they brought kids up together, they had a wonderful life. And like I said, when he passed away, she was devastated. Well, guess what? 6 months later, she's on a train, going someplace, and guess who she runs into? The guy from when she was a teenager, who was like her first love, who she totally had been so madly in love with. Just, they ran into each other. They hadn't even been in touch for years and years and years. And immediately, it totally clicked, totally fell back into place. And he had been through a marriage, and I think a divorce, and he had, you know, older kids too. But they both had like really full lives. And then guess what? They were ready to come together. So if you look at that from this really big perspective of, wow, that was like 35 years there that they took a turn. But look at the rich and wonderful experiences that they had, and there were other experiences within this life that they wanted to have before they came together. And now they have a whole other purpose in life. They have a whole different perspective than when they were younger. And, you know, she even said to me, you know, had we gotten married back then, it probably wouldn't have worked out, because it was so passionate. It was so, you know, and we are now, but she's like, we weren't old enough to be able to handle that. So it's just fascinating. And so that happens not only in relationships and stuff, because, you know, I try to avoid the discussion about relationships, because the most important is the relationship with ourselves, and for us to actually be in love and to be in complete love and passion about ourselves and happiness. Because when we come from that place at all points in our life, then everything in our life is going to reflect that. But I just thought that that is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where there are no wrong turns. It's just the way, it's divine timing, it's divine alignment. And it's just phenomenal to think of how many things I know that have, especially in the last couple of years, are synchronistically coming together and changing and shifting, and something you've never would have anticipated brought you back to where you thought you had totally lost. So have faith. The message is to have faith that you're moving forward and you're moving towards that goal. And the biggest importance here is to determine and remember what your soul's purpose is, what is going to make your heart and soul sing, what is your personal legend, and why are you here. If you can remember that from the heart without the ego, and you say, I am working towards that, and I trust that my higher self, that creator, that my guides are going to help me get there, then you're going to get there. And you're going to, you know, and sometimes we have this lesson of, yeah, I want to do it with trauma, drama, and illness. Well, you know how I am about that. None of that here. So that's really going to lead me right into the clearing for today. So let's do that. Really run through that really quick. Would you like all the following without trauma, drama, and illness, without creating or recreating situation? For illustration, all with ease, grace, balance, harmony, joy, fun, excitement, adventure, love, and humor. for all versions of you, all times, all places, into the ever-expanding universe and beyond, to receive all the information in this download via instantaneous and comprehensive download with fully conscious understanding of it, and to also replace all related truths, understandings, definitions, clarities, perspectives of yours in relation to what we're clearing with creators for divine alignment. All of that for the following. Would you like creator's truth and understanding on what the definition of the right path in life is? Perspective versus truth. Perception versus truth. Would you like to bring forward any and all situations in your experiences on where you have felt like you took the wrong turn, that you took the wrong path, and to get creator's truth and clarity on that, the perception versus the truth? To get creator's definition and perception versus truth on what is like taking a wrong path, or the perception and understanding versus the truth of taking a wrong path. And would you like to remove any and all beliefs that have come from those situations that you've experienced, including, I can take a wrong turn in life. I am not allowed to take the easy and graceful path. I have to forego a certain path for other things. That means I can't take the path I want to. Let's see, anything that's related to that. And then also any fears, anxieties, rejections, regrets, resentments, anger regarding that have come from those beliefs and from those experiences. And would you like to remove the energy memory of all of that? And let's pull all that stuff. Remove all the energy memory of that from the cellular structure, including any and all self-limiting thoughts, words, and actions that are related to those. Transform to creator's light, send them back to creator. Close those receptors absolutely and permanently. Open new ones and saturate the cells with the highest vibration of creator's unconditional love. Download the beliefs of, I am always on the right path. I trust that my higher self, that creator, that my guides of light are helping me on the highest and best, most positive path for me to get to my soul's purpose. I am allowed to do that. And all related beliefs for that. And then also the feelings associated with it, including that you're worthy, deserving, and able to, that it's okay, allowed, possible, and safe to, that you're ready, willing, and able to, and that you have that in your life right now. And then to heal, resolve, and clear the timelines in all directions to infinity and beyond with the platinum violet flames, and offer it to any and all ancestors and descendants if they so choose to accept. Would you like all of that? And if you would, take a deep breath. Clear your mind. Be open to receive. And say, yes, path. And that's it. Have a great one. We will talk to you next week. This is Angela with Today's a Cup of Tea.